Hello, TikTok. Hello, everybody. Welcome, Church of Judas. Doing a live Church of Judas session today because I was just in somebody's live for like an hour and a half, waiting to say something, and then when I finally get into it, it wasn't my turn to talk after all. It's funny how people are critical of Christianity, but they want the power that comes. They want they want to get rid of the Christianity, but they want to keep some type of power structure. And they succeed at that in some ways on TikTok. TikTok allows people different levels of power. But then when something that can be more critical of Christianity, they can take that criticism to a more productive level, comes across, they don't want it because they lose the power to be in control when the divine is more in control, when Jesus is in control in this case. Jesus is actually against Christianity, or the churches are antichrist is probably the better way to put it. The churches have formed to an antichrist extent, which is really obvious to people who know about what Jesus is really about and what the churches have really been up to. The churches have been antichrist. They've produced a lot of antichrist figures, such as our current president in America, or the guy in Russia, or the guy in Germany. That's all the result of churches. Jesus isn't responsible for that. Jesus is good and wouldn't have done that and doesn't support those people. So, hello, evangelist. You probably know what I'm talking about. So these antichrist figures, Trump and Putin, and previous antichrist figures in the past are antichrist, and the churches are largely antichrist for supporting them. That's why Jesus has the plan to replace the churches and do something with all the evil they've done. So the church has become, the foundation of empire and colonialism and pretty much all the worst things that humanity has done. And, humanity did some bad things in previous centuries, but in most recent centuries, Christianity's been at the heart of every evil empire. And if they haven't been at the heart of it, I will clarify, there's other empires doing evil stuff that Christianity isn't at the heart of, or they're not a Christian empire. Like Netanyahu is not Christian, but he's obviously an evil tyrant. Well, he's doing it on behalf of Putin and on behalf of Trump, who are Christian and Antichrist. So basically this Antichrist conglomerate, hello, thanks for the likes, this Antichrist conglomerate of Putin and Trump, but also all these churches that supported him, all these churches that didn't speak out against him, all these Antichrist churches are why the churches get replaced. How do I know the churches get replaced? This is all Gospel of Judas stuff, what Jesus told Judas recorded, that was destroyed by Christians probably, and Romans, or whoever else liked to destroy books back in those days. They destroyed every copy of it, or so they thought. And then the copy that we did get has been translated and has been revealed. So Judas is revealed as the only male disciple that actually didn't betray Jesus, because all the other male disciples, thank you for the likes, all the other male disciples betrayed Jesus by incorporating patriarchy, making all these churches that went completely corrupt. And that's why they keep dividing over everything. One thing they don't divide over, for all the other things that Christian churches divide over, they don't divide over their hatred for Judas. They all manage to hate Judas, which shows that they're all wrong. They're all wrong at a very fundamental level. And the situation that they're in now is to consider, hey, if we're wrong about Judas, what else could we be wrong about? They should realize, lots of people should be realizing they're wrong about Trump right now. Church people should realize they're wrong about Trump to the extent that Trump, the Antichrist, thanks for sharing live, Trump, the Antichrist, has duped them and taken advantage of the Antichrist nature of the churches. Now, how do we know the churches are Antichrist? This is all from Gospel of Judas as well, where Judas and Jesus have a secret conversation. Jesus has interpreted the dream of the other disciples, where they're all doing terrible things, as the future of the churches that they're going to form, which all do terrible things. We know about that historically and in modern times. And he says, because they do all these terrible things, your church is going to replace all their churches. So this is Church of Judas. Welcome to the Church of Judas. And it replaces all Christianity. So this happens because of how bad the Christian churches were going to go. You could say, well, if Jesus knew how bad the Christian churches were going to go and he let them happen, how could he be a good person? He'd just be terrible if he knew how all these terrible things that Christianity was going to do and he let it happen. Well, he let it happen to be a trap. He let it happen to entrap people like Trump, people like Putin, and entrap them, surrounding them with people who are good, well-meaning, but misled by these evil leaders. So once you have these evil leaders surrounded by thousands and millions of good people, that's a trap. And all it takes is those people turning on the evil leaders. Done and done. And you finish evil countries, you finish evil systems, you finish patriarchy itself, capitalism itself, you finish war. It's an ingenious plan, and it's working to the extent of Jesus's first prophecies to Judas have come true. That all the churches would hate him, that came true. That his secrets would be, that the whole conversation between them would be secret, would be destroyed, so no one would know about it for thousands of years. That came true. That it would be revealed, that came true. It's been revealed in 2006. And the fourth part, there's some other stuff in there too, but the fourth part, that Judas's church will replace all the other Christian churches, that hasn't happened yet, but it's bound to happen since the first three parts of it came true already. Now, when Judas' church replaces all the patriarchy Christian churches, first of all, you have Christianity without the patriarchy. Just think about what that means. So Christianity without the patriarchy, or a Jesus religion that's not patriarchal, that's not colonial, that's not evangelical, that's not insisting upon itself, that's not so insecure that it has to convert other people, that doesn't believe in hell anymore, that doesn't try to foist hell on anybody else or put anybody else's life in hell because they can do that because it's their excuse for saving people from hell. Doesn't do any of those things. So basically, yeah, there's some good things that Christians have done and that Christian churches have done. I like to say you can keep the potato salad. You can keep some songs. You might change some words, but you can keep some songs. There's good things in the churches that will continue. Nothing against good things. Some churches provide sanctuary to immigrants. Some churches, feed people. Good things can continue, but the bad things won't. Get rid of the bad things. What are the bad things? Well, we know the things that lead to Trump, the things that lead to Putin, the things that lead to the mustache guy. So Christianity's role in producing all these evil tyrants is why it gets replaced. But when it gets replaced, you also catch the evil tyrants because you've got them surrounded. So this is how you end war. This is how you end tyranny. This is how you end patriarchy and capitalism. All those things are pretty much the same thing. Christianity has been pretty much synonymous with supremacist ideology, capitalism, war, things like that. It's become the main motive of that. And it's been just the defunct religion. Like some other religions are pretty good and can work well with each other. Christianity's been running around trying to replace everybody and has just been like kind of the bully or the member of a group that can't stop talking about themselves and prevents any group work from getting done. When Christianity reaches its final form, or Church of Judas, when Judas replaces all the patriarchy Christianity, then Christianity will be a religion on par with the other religions. It'll be something that in the family of religions, all religions can, all religious activity can progress humanity further because one of them hasn't been holding it back or going against the rest of them or being a brat or whatever you want to call it. So basically Christianity hasn't been a religion. It's been a pseudo-religion, worshiping a pseudo-God for 2,000 years. But now it becomes a religion when Judas replaces the churches and Jesus is revealed to be from the goddess, not God. And that God is revealed to be fake. And we've seen the fruits of that God, so we know that God is not good. We know that God is evil. But we haven't seen what happens when people wake up to that and turn it around on the Antichrist leaders like Trump and Putin that have been the result of it. So that needs to happen sooner than later. That's why I want to go ahead and talk about it. Unfortunately, I haven't found the people on TikTok to talk about it too, at least not tonight, but maybe if I save this quickly and post it in the future, they'll show up to see this and comment in the future. So thanks, future people. And I'll leave you with the Church of Judas blessing, which is, oh, hello, welcome to the Church of Judas. If you want to talk about anything, we can talk real quick. Otherwise, I'm going to close it down. This is just about Jesus setting Judas aside to replace all patriarchy, Christianity, war, and Trumpism. So Jesus knew what evils were going to be done in his name in Christianity. And he's not a terrible person wanting that all to happen, but he used it all as a plan to catch the tyrants and to catch the Trumps of the world. And now we're at that point where it's time to catch them. It's time to put a stop to them. It's time to repurpose their churches. So I can tell you all about it, or I can close this down. You can check out my videos and check out this video when I post it in the future. So thanks, TikTok. Maybe next time find some better people. I mean, the people were fine, I guess, but people that are capable of commenting. 268 viewers have engaged with you so far. I don't remember that message. 268 viewers have not engaged with me so far. One person, I think, put 268 likes on it. So let me cancel for just a second and catch back up. Welcome back. This is Church of Judas. This is how we end patriarchy, Christianity, war, and Trumpism. According to Jesus' secret prophecy that he gave to Judas, that he said would be kept secret, but then would be revealed. It was revealed in 2006. I wrote a book about it called The Book of Judas, and I do some content on YouTube and also here under the hashtag Church of Judas. And I sometimes do some lives as well for Church of Judas. So I think I'll close this one down so it'll be available to people in the future. It'll be easier to download if it's short. I think I've only gone for about 10 minutes. So anyway, thanks. And as I said, TikTok, next time, please go ahead and provide people who are willing to comment, share, and like, and all that stuff. Because I think we could find people that want to end patriarchy, Trumpism, war, and patriarchy, Christianity. And it's not even hard. It's actually a brilliant plan. So Jesus came up with it. He told Judas about it. It was kept secret for 2,000 years. Now that it's not secret, it's just a matter of people hearing the information. It's all the patriarchy churches were going to be corrupt. We're going to become embedded in empires and produce tyrants like Trump and Putin. That these antichrist figures were going to be the sign that it's going to be replaced. And replacing the church also replaces those empires and tyrants. Well, it entraps the tyrants. And the transformation of ending patriarchy in the churches ends war, ends capitalism, ends empire. Because the only empires that aren't Christian empires are subsidiaries of Christian empires, off-brand Christian empires, at least in the last hundreds of years. So Jesus' plan worked. It definitely worked out that everybody hated Judas, just like he told them they would. It worked out that it was kept secret for 2,000 years because they did destroy every book. So the censors and book burners of the 1st and 2nd century, thanks for sharing live. The censors and book burners of the 1st and 2nd century helped the prophecy come true. Then when it was discovered, the fact that it was discovered already starts to point at Jesus having some seeing through time, prophetic, future sight powers, or comes from the future, or however you want to describe it, knows what the future holds. It was revealed in 2006. It was published by National Geographic. I think the very next day, Pope Benedict came out and said, don't believe it. Don't believe these new things you're hearing about Jesus. So, of course, churches have tried to suppress this or ignored it as much as possible or dismissed it as much as they can because it calls into question them. And the question that's laid before them is, hey, do you care more about Jesus? If this book proves that Jesus is true and real, wouldn't you want people to know about it? But if in proving that Jesus is true and real, it also proves that the churches are evil, the churches don't want you to know about it only because they care more about their church than they care about Jesus. So the same can be said for just asking the churches straight up, hey, do you choose Antichrist Trump or do you choose Jesus? You get to choose one of those things, and depending on your choice, we're going to repurpose your church. So if they choose Antichrist Trump, repurpose their church. If they choose Jesus, cool, let's go. But that's the choice that's going to be made. A few churches have recently sued Trump for his immigration policies, violating sanctuary of their church and of their community. And 4, maybe, churches But why all churches haven't sued Trump? Those 4 churches are already on the path of Church of Judas. They're already repurposing their church for a greater purpose than it had been used in the past. And other churches that aren't ready to do that now, just tell them, hey, we're repurposing you. We're repurposing your church. We're replacing the previous church that you had with a church that conforms to what Jesus actually wants, which is, woke as a joke, good for everybody, intersectional as can be. It's everything you think and know about Jesus that has been contrary to what the churches have done. And we see what the churches have produced in these evil leaders, Antichrist leaders like Trump and Putin. And previous to that, the German guy. And the church is guilty of that. Jesus isn't guilty of that, though, only to the extent that Jesus wasn't in those churches. Those churches were Antichrist. And they've been misled from the start. This is all, again, Gospel of Judas stuff. Check out my book, The Book of Judas, or my content under the hashtag Church of Judas here on TikTok or on YouTube. Since I can't get anybody to actually comment, I am going to go ahead and close it down. But thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time. Oh, yeah, I'll use the thanks for sharing the live again. I'll use the, what's it called, blessing I came up with for Church of Judas, which is, God has blessed you, Jesus bless you, Mary bless you, Judas bless you, I bless you, bless yourself.